Today's July 7th. Today's quote is entitled, "It's all about your interpretation." How you experience something is not necessarily about what's happening, but about how you interpret what's happening. The same event could enlighten, encourage, and inspire you, or cause you to become depressed and handicapped, depending on how you interpret, understand it. So the world is a very subjective world. We tend to think how we see things is actually how they are. But that's natural and that's normal. We think this is real, or this is right, or what you did is wrong, simply because that's how I perceive it, or that's how I judge it. The problem is, according to our perception, according to our understanding, we will now experience something in a particular way. And the lesson is, if I'm experiencing something in a negative way, that means I'm interpreting it in a way that's causing me to be negative, or causing me to be discouraged, or causing me to be critical. So the same thing, which is causing me to, let's say in this example, to be critical, does not have to cause me to be critical if I just understand it in another way. Like, for example, in our forgiveness workshop, we asked the students to try to understand what they think was the motive, what they think was the reason, what they think were the circumstances behind the person who hurt you doing what they did. And oftentimes, when the student understands, well, actually this person was going through a difficult time, or they were raised in a particular way to think that what they did was just normal or right, or even benevolent, then because you're seeing things a little different now, your experience will change. Oh, actually they weren't trying to hurt me. I thought they were, but now I understand they were just trying to do what they had to do, or they were just trying to deal with the situations in life that they were trying to deal with. So now that I see it differently, my experience of the situation is different. So look at your life and look at anything that's having a negative influence on you, even if it's just, I don't like this devotee because, and therefore I'm becoming critical of this devotee, or jealous of this devotee, envious, or just bad-mouthing this devotee. Then think, how could I understand this devotee and their actions in a way that wouldn't cause me to be negative? Say, well, maybe this is just the nature of the devotee, and they're actually well-motivated. They're trying their best. They have a need to make sure everything in Prabhupada's movement is correct and going on properly. They have a need to ensure that there's no deviation. And that's why they're being a little hard on me, or a little heavy, or maybe it even seems like they're a bit fanatical. But actually, when I understand, no, they're just trying to administer or represent Prabhupada's instructions about something, then I can see, no, they're not bad people. They're not against me. They just want to clarify something, or they want to present something the way they see Prabhupada saw it, or the way they understand Prabhupada taught it. And so when we see it that way, we say, oh, yes, I have nothing against this devotee. I have nothing bad to say about them. Before, I was calling them fanatic, or conservative, or liberal, or whatever. So the important point of this lesson, which I think can be extremely helpful, is that you look at anything negative that you're experiencing, and then see if you can reframe it in a way that you'll no longer be negative. Now, I can't tell you how to reframe every situation, but I know a lot of the situations I've been in that I saw negatively, I would reframe it, no, this will please Prabhupada. And so now that I was in this frame of reference that this will be pleasing to Prabhupada, then it had a positive connotation, even though it was difficult to deal with, even though personally I didn't want to deal with it, or I didn't want to perform that particular service. So it was just reframe everything in a way that it will be positive for you, because how you see it affects your emotional response, and you can change your emotional your emotional response by changing how you see it. And that's what Shastra does. It's always changing our vision to see things in a higher way so that we have a more Krishna conscious attitude towards everything. Even if I see non-devotees doing things which our scripture says are bad, are sinful, are creating karma and so forth, but still I could see them in a compassionate frame of reference, in a compassionate context, that they're ignorant, they don't know. And I feel really bad because these activities are causing sinful reactions for them. Is there anything I can do to help them? Maybe I can just pray right now that Krishna will inspire them in some way to understand what they're doing is wrong, rather than condemn, because if I just condemn, that has a very negative, it becomes a negative for me, and it's not a way in which I could be effective as a devotee. So some ideas, some examples. I think this can help you a lot.